I thought I'm the best coach in the world. What this first lecture taught me was how little I know, and this became my biggest motivation in life. This is what champion's character means. Usually I'm used to the same set of questions that I'm being asked. You tried to challenge me from another approach. My daughter one time asked me, "Daddy, do you like your job?" I said, "Anja, a job as a job, you shouldn't love. You should love the people that you work with. Here you are learning that you cannot have an attachment to any of the clubs."
Do we have to blur the Olympiacos?
No, I'm not at EuroLeague working anymore. Željko raised his hand and he said, "Jordi, I think we have to build a coaches union. And by the way, I think Goran should be the director. If you are like me, Orthodox Christian, or like you, a Muslim, the only thing that matters is, can you make this shot to win the game?" For me, the next level of scouting will be practice scouting. It's for me so clear what you need in order to become a coach.
What legacy do you hope to leave behind? In this episode, we are with one of the legends of the game, Goran Sasic. So we in the real.
Thank you very much.
How's it going? How are you?
Very good. I just don't consider myself a legend. But everything else I accept. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for having me.
I mean, for me, you are one of the legends because you work with legendary teams, let's say in the Europe, and then legendary players.
And legendary coaches.
Right now, legendary coaches.
Yes.
How's it going? Is everything great?
Everything is good. I think we are witnessing a great season for 25 years of celebration of EuroLeague basketball. We couldn't expect to watch better basketball than what we're currently watching.
Yeah, it's a great level of basketball.
And it's competitive, you know, everyone can beat everyone. We have great fan experiences that we're witnessing right now. Very tight scores.
Yeah.
And, so I wish I could see more of games like Real and Efes from last year.
Oh, yeah.
This would be the icing on the cake. If we would have several games like this per season, then I would say, okay, now we are there where we all wish to be.
Yeah, I love the Serbian derbies too.
Okay, not only the Serbian derby, you know, it's let's look also at the Turkish derby, let's look at the Greek derby, let's look at the Spanish derby, let's look at the Italian derby, you know, let's look at the German derby. So this is, but you make the point.
Yeah.
This is what's so interesting. It's the derbies, you know, that give you an extra atmosphere to enjoy. But I wish I could also see a Lithuanian derby. Again in the EuroLeague. I wish I could have an Israeli derby in the EuroLeague also, yeah? So this is exactly what makes it so interesting for all fans.
For sure, the fan experience is so important.
And the players and coaches also love it.
Yeah,
you know, it's not only
too much
us
stress
fans.
for coaches. I mean...
Yes, but this is what they live for. And this is what players and coaches are actually, you know, what they practice for, what they give the sweat and blood and everything for these kind of experience. And you know, look, also you mentioned now the Serbian atmosphere. All the players that come, foreign players, for example, I remember a couple of Real Madrid players that gave statements about this this is what they live for.
Yeah.
So this is what champion's character means. When you are a champion, you want to play an away game in this atmosphere and you want to win it, or lately also Nigel Hayes. So this is champion's character. You go into the Gladiators arena and you win the game if you can. If you don't win it, it's a challenge within yourself to come next time and win it again.
Yeah. There's a quote like this, like boxers are using it. It's called losers are lessons.
Yes, exactly.
When you lose it, it's a lesson.
Look, I have a very similar quote, which I say, which is a philosophy I learned in sports. God first takes before he gives. Meaning you must first learn how to lose in order to become a champion.
Yeah.
So it's a very similar line that I have. And also don't forget, this is still a game. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's there's much more serious things in life to consider, and we must all, after it's 0-0 on the clock, we must go to each other and respect the efforts that each side did, and understand that this was a game for 40 minutes duration, and afterwards we are friends, we're brothers, we all love basketball, so this is the avenue we have to go and approach this.
Yeah, exactly. So, as we said, you have an amazing journey in basketball, and you still making historic moves into your journey and in the basketball world. And from your coaching to managing EuroLeague operations, and now EHCB, which is EuroLeague Head Coaches Board, what specific challenges shaped your path the most, and how did they influence your perspective on the basketball ecosystem?
Look, Mir, when you send me the questions up front, when I asked you, hey, give me a little bit of an idea, because I always want to be prepared. I always say being prepared is half the victory. I was actually surprised with some of your questions that you wanted to ask me, because usually I'm used to the same set of questions that I'm being asked. But you tried to challenge me from another approach. Okay, let me start a little bit, because you said in the beginning of the preparation you wanted to give, let's say, a motivation to younger players to enter into the basketball ecosystem.
Yes.
And so I want to go back on how I was when I really started in the basketball ecosystem. And it was when I just finished my high school in Berlin. I decided to follow for 1 year the practice process of Alba Berlin with head coach Svetslav Pešić. And I approached him and I said, Coach Pešić, I would like to follow your practice for 1 year. He said, okay, but under 3 rules. Rule number 1, never, ever, ever be late for practice. Don't tell me the metro stopped working, the bus tire broke down, your pigeon died or whatever. He was really sarcastic. But what he told me was, if you need to be sure to come on time, leave 3 hours before practice. Rule number 1. Rule number 2 that he said, the only time you are exempt from not participating in the practice is if you have a viral infection, meaning not to make the other players sick. But there was a follow-up rule to this, which was, but you still need to go to the team doctor, that he sees you and that he approves that you are exempt from practice. Meaning, it does not work.
You can't lie.
I'm so sick, I cannot. So it's a double proof of making sure that a young boy in puberty like me does not come up with fake excuses. The third rule was, Goran, every order that you get from the team and equipment manager up to the president, you will execute it instantly. Not later, not tomorrow, you will execute it instantly. So let's say that was my entry into basketball. After 1 year of practices, he decided that I should go to the Basketball Coaches College in Belgrade, Serbia, where his conditioning coach at the time and late Professor Karalej was the professor of the university. So after 1 year of following Coach Pešić, he told me I have to go and now get a serious education. So I went to the University of Belgrade. I studied at the Coaches College, where Professor Karalej, who was his conditioning coach, was the dean of this basketball coaching college. And Professor Jakovljević, that I work now with in the EHCB Coaches Academy. I would start like this. The first lecture that I had was psychology. And I came and it was in Cyrillic letters. I didn't know 1 word of Cyrillic. Secondly, psychology terminologies. Look, I spoke Serbian like immigrants, kid. You know, when your parents tell you move away your socks, clean up your room. So it was on this level of Serbian knowledge that I had. And before I went to that first lecture, I was 18 years old. I thought I'm the best coach in the world. But what this first lecture taught me was how little I know about sports, and this became my biggest motivation in life. I graduated afterwards with the best grade average in 18 generations from the coaching college. Then I studied sports management, where I was the best in class, and then I studied sports marketing and communication, where I was again best in class. So from being overly arrogant, I understood how much work should be put behind it in order to really become not the best, but to become good in what you are doing. The next evolution I had was when I moved to EuroLeague basketball to work here. My direct boss was Edward Scott. He's my best man, but he's actually younger than me, but he taught me a lot of things. First thing was leading by example. And I give you an idea. When I worked here, I always had, let's say, 2 night shifts, working, doing scouting the games. And we finished, let's say, at 6 in the morning. Edu still insisted that we arrive the next morning at 8:30 or at 9 in the office. So this when I say leading by example. So we had the right to, of course, come in later or have a good sleep and so on. But he always insisted we come to the office. So this really what people say, you come to the office first, you leave to the office as last. This is definitely one thing that I learned from him. The other thing, he's a mechanical engineer. And when I was working like a youth coach in Alba, my former president and his wife, they always told me, you are a great coach, but you are very poor in organizational skills. Having a mechanical engineer as your boss brings you to a level that you should be really prepared, okay, in what you are doing, and engineers challenge you everything from every side. So that's a very nice other thing. And the next thing that he taught me was the importance of looking at my team that I worked with in basketball operations like a band of brothers. And I give you another idea. My daughter one time asked me, Daddy, do you like your job? And I said to her, Angela, that's her name, I said, Angela, a job as a job, you shouldn't love. You should love the people that you work with. And this environment that Edu created when we worked in basketball operations was really like this. We were like brothers. We're still like brothers. Those of us that are with us, unfortunately, we have one that is not with us anymore, Selvar Jigal. I gave my son the name after Selvar. So this is how much, when I say we were a band of brothers and we will always be a band of brothers, those are things that Edu taught me. Now, let's say what I know will be media-wise most interesting to follow is what I have to say about Željko Obradović. Željko was the one who actually had the vision to put me in this position where I am now. How did this started? I was working in EuroLeague basketball, and we had these EuroLeague Head Coaches meeting here in the office where you and me are sitting right now. In the next room, which is called Željko Obradović room, we always had the EuroLeague Head Coaches meeting. And at a certain meeting, Željko raised his hand. It was still under Jordi Bertomeu time, and he said, Jordi, I think we have the need to build a coaches union. So at the front of the desk was Jordi Bertomeu, Edu Scott, and me, and then you had all the head coaches around. And this is why I say Željko lives 1 second in the future. He sees things many other people don't see at this given moment. But you have to understand, my best man is sitting to the left of me, and Željko says we have to build this union, and by the way, I think Goran should be the director. Jordi made a joke looking at all of them and said, okay, so Goran is fired today because of conflict of interest. But what was more interesting was Edu Scott turning around to me and asking me, did you know anything about this? And I said, I have no idea what he's talking about. I don't know. So this is what I want to say. Željko lives actually 1 second in the future. But now a couple of things that I have to say, what he taught me. the number one lesson, and this is what I think what is the key essence from all of our members in the EuroLeague Head Coaches Board, is respect. So before I met Željko and before I visited, let's say, him in a working environment, when he was in Fener, I was 54 times visiting him. I slept in his house. I was always for a week, meaning I went with him to the practice, but also to the coaches' meetings before. I stayed with him. So I spent so much time like no one can spend with him. I saw the respect that Željko has, and I'm literally talking. You remember this anecdote that I said that Pesic said from the team manager to the president? Željko, from the moment that he leaves his car, enters the arena, he shows the same level of respect to the cleaning ladies, to the security guards, to the cooks, to the equipment manager, to all of these players, to everyone in the Fener staff, but also going into a restaurant with him. He never, ever, ever would act like a rich kid mentality, behaving rude to someone. This you will never see. So again, this level of respect that he shows to everyone, and people are not used to this. They always think, hey, he's Željko Obradović, he can behave however he wants and blah. And people feel sometimes strange when they see this kind of reaction, the level of respect. Or I have friends, when I bring them to dinner with Željko and they meet him first time, Željko really first gets up, stands up, shakes their hands, tells them, hey, can I please order something to eat for you? What do you want to drink? He dedicates times to people he meets the first time, and every time the people are shocked. I cannot believe he's like this. I cannot believe he talked to me. And so this is a big lesson I learned from him. Always have respect. It doesn't matter what person you're talking to. This is a big lesson I learned from him. Another thing, don't judge people. So that's another thing which is so, for me, the pure essence of understanding Željko is he would never ever say things like this guy is doing a bad job, or this guy should be doing this, or this guy could have done this and this. He will only give let's say, inputs in his job as a coach. So he would only talk to his players and tell them, you have to do it like this, you could do it like this, you should do it like this, and so on. But in any other work profile, he wouldn't get in. So I give you an idea. The first year the EHCB was founded, my Secretary General is Cem Karamürsel with a financial background. Our legal advisor was Jan Pommer, who's a lawyer who was CEO of the German Bundesliga, a long year board member of EuroLeague Basketball. When we started preparing our annual assembly, like revising the budget, preparing the budget, legal stuff, and so on, they said to me, it is impossible, incredible how much Željko gives us freedom and how much he trusts us. And those are guys who come from business background. They're not used to have the freedom of movement, and I would say literally, yeah. They turned to me and said, we cannot believe this. So this is what I mean, don't judge. Željko would never ever tell a lawyer, hey, you should do it like this. Or never tell a financial expert, hey, you should do it like this. He respects the profession of each and every one, and this is what I also learned from him. Don't tell other experts, this is right, this is wrong. Don't act like you are the almighty and that you know things. The other thing I want to say to him is when we had our founding press conference of the EHCB, we had 6 of our members there, and I prepared some talking points for them, what they could say, okay? Željko listened at it and in front of all our members, and he said, Goran, okay, very interesting what you prepared. It's very good what you prepared, but he took the paper and tear it apart. And he said to me, now you need to learn a very important lesson. don't tell people what they have to say or what they don't have to say. They're all experts. They have all been giving press conferences for 30 years. We understand you from the management perspective that you want to give us some preparation to it, but it's not needed. And please be reminded never ever to tell someone what he has to say and what he should not say.
Amazing. That's why he's a legend.
Everyone has qualities, but I just tried to give you now my way into basketball.
Yeah.
This is my way. This is Goran Sasic, but every one of my coaches has a certain set of qualities. If I start now counting up, our interview would last for 3 days about this. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But I understand that why they shocked when they see Obradovic being normal, because we only see him from TV or in the arenas with a lot of ambitious.
Competitiveness.
Yes, competitiveness.
Yes.
So I understand. But as you said, basketball have a lot of connection with the life. I want to ask how basketball has influenced your life. So what's one leadership lesson from your role right now at EuroLeague Head Coaches Board that you think applies not just to basketball but to the life in general?
Look, the first thing that comes to my mind always is when people ask me what's outside of sport that impacts your thoughts. It's this that I say, sports unites and politics divides. I'm really upset, and it triggers me when I see political interferences. And we know that in every Olympic Committee charter, in FIFA statute, in the EuroLeague bylaws, and everywhere it always says it's forbidden for governmental interference, political interferences, and so on and so on. So this triggers something. Look, my country now is called Serbia. It used to be called Yugoslavia. We have been sport sanctioned, okay? So this is, let's say, always a topic that upsets me and that I don't accept. And I think the beauty of sports is exactly this, that you combine all cultures together working in one goal and in one direction. Look, in sports, it doesn't matter if you are, and I will use now bad terminologies because I disagree, in terms of racial. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, yellow, and I'm on purposely using those bad words. It doesn't matter which is your religious belief. If you are like me, Orthodox Christian, or like you, Muslim, or Jewish, or Hindu, or whatever, it absolutely does not matter, okay? The only thing that matters is, can you make this shot to win the game? Can you defend this shot to that you win this game? Look, for me, what I love the most about sports is, look, I came now, I was in Istanbul, then Moscow, Istanbul, and now I'm in Barcelona. But now talking about Istanbul again, because you just asked me today on the phone how was my time in Istanbul. First, I love Turkish food. I really love it.
Yeah.
Let's add to this, I love Turkish baklava, even adding to this.
Outside of the food, no?
Yes, so that's, let's say, additional food, supplemented foods. I love Turkish music, okay, and I love Turkish people. So what I want to say now, Turkish music. I was driving back in a taxi to the airport, and there was the music of a group called Group Abdal.
Group Abdal.
Yeah, which I love. And I said to the taxi driver, he just wanted to turn it off. I said, no, don't turn it off. Louder, please. And he was shocked that I could sing part of the songs, because he asked me, where are you from? I said, I'm from Sırbistan, okay? And he couldn't believe it. He was shocked. And I said, why are you surprised? It's beautiful music. And for example, the lady that sings there, I said, she has for me a voice of an angel. So this is the beauty of sports. Sports taught me this, that when I go to a country, same like when I go to Italy, I want to eat Italian food, I want to listen to Italian music, and I want to experience Italian culture. This is for me the beauty of sports. Okay, so same thing. I now saw a draft version of the video of Nigel Hayes, who was mic'd up during a game. And what caught my attention, that before the game, he went to every participant of the opponent team and to the referees and greeted them in their local language.
Yeah, Nigel Hayes he's different.
Not different. This is for me how it has to be. This is the biggest sign of respect that you can have.
Yes.
It's such a small gesture, but it raises sympathy. And from me looking at it, it raised the biggest ultimate level of respect. Same as, look, I'm Serbian. When I talk to the people in some Turkish words, I see the smile on their face.
Yeah.
And so this is what I love about sports, okay? So it's when I get this side that politics try to divide us, it upsets me. So let me give you the example. Every time when there is election in Turkey and Greece, they suddenly try to tell the story it's enemies. Or same thing, Serbia, Albania, Serbia, Croatia, Serbia, Bosnia. Pick any part of the planet. Whenever there's election, the politicians try to tell us that we are enemies. What's the reality? I was 9 years in the EuroLeague Master Studies coordinating the Master Studies. And now I have 5 years the Academy. Who end up to be sitting together? It's the Lebanese and the Israelis. It's the Serbs and the Albanians, the Serbs and the Croats. You understand where I'm leading you to. So also when the war in ex-Yugoslavia started in 1991, 1992, whoever, which year you want to choose from, I was living in Berlin. And all my friends suddenly started talking Serbia, I'm from Serbia, I'm from Croatia, I'm from Bosnia. I was a young boy, I mean, I was, 12, 13 years old. I went to my mother and I said, hey, Mom, what is Serbia? What is Croatia? What is Bosnia? I don't know this. Can you please explain to me? You know what was my mother's reply? She was a nurse, okay? Think of the mindset of a nurse, how much smarter she was than many other people are still today. She said, son, those are our brothers and sisters. At least, even if people don't even want to see each other like brothers and sisters, we must accept the fact that we are neighbors and we will always be neighbors. We must work, again, for those people who are ignorant and don't want to understand, at least we must have economic ties to survive.
Yeah.
Don't fall for this shit, Croatia, Serbia, blah, blah, blah. This is the worst thing that happens. So maybe I give you now an explanation why I love sports more than anything else.
Yeah, but it's so true that we all brothers and sisters. It doesn't matter where we're from, because where we're from is what we call culture, is how we grow up.
Yeah.
So these are the differences.
It's a geographical definition of where we are from. Look, you and me did not choose where God put us on place. It was God's decision to decide you were born at this moment, in this instance, in this location. So it's something, I say it's a geographic definition of where you were born, okay? Yes. But look, I also always like, for example, the Americans, they always call each other brother. Hey, brother. In Serbian, we say brate. Hey, brate. Also, Turkish people, they always refer to me as brother. Yes. Okay, so best example, for example, Erdem Can, one of our members, he always calls me, hey, brother. And I agree. We are brothers, but from another mother. Yes. But brothers in the love that we have for each other, brothers for the love for sports that we have. And again, same thing with American people. They always call each other brother, and I like this. This is the way how it should be.
Yeah, sometimes they don't mean it, but they call it.
Look, this is another perspective that you're going in, but the whole approach, look, you will never have, when you look socially, let's say we take 100 people, okay? You will always have 90 people who will mean it and 10 people who will not mean it. But I'm not going to focus on the 10 that who don't mean it. I will focus on the 90 people who mean it. Yeah,
yeah, it makes sense. And actually, I want to talk about your experience with cultural differences. As you said, you've been in different cultures, and you're still going through different cultures. You were in Moscow, Istanbul, and now in here, Barcelona.
I can even go back how my trip was in January. This was Milano, Torino, Italy, Vitoria, Spain, then Athens, Greece, then Abu Dhabi and Dubai, Emirates. And look, you have to know that when I worked in EuroLeague basketball, I learned one thing: to see everything from 18 different perspectives. Because here you are learning that you cannot have an attachment to any of the clubs. For example, it's forbidden to wear a club logo. Okay, so many people, when I started working in EuroLeague basketball in Serbia, the Red Star staff asked me, "Who you cheer for?" I said, "Serbian national team." They were like, "Ah, so you're a Partizan." Or the Partizan staff asked me, "Who you cheer for?" Serbian national. "Ah, you're a Red Star." So just to explain you how much level of diplomacy you must have when you work in a EuroLeague, okay. Same thing about cultural approach, okay. This is what I learned here in EuroLeague. You must understand when you work here that it's not your mindset that is important. So I, as Goran, had to take this Serb out of me, put him aside, and try to understand all the 10 different cultures, the countries that EuroLeague operates in. I needed to start to understand how to operate with those people. So, and again, for me, this enriched me like a person. I think I'm now a much better version of myself than I was before I met all those people that I told you who influenced my life. Before I started working here in EuroLeague basketball, for me, EuroLeague basketball was, let's say, the game changer in terms of mentality shift. And so, yes, I embrace different cultures. I love the aspect of multiculturalism. People tend to forget, for example, let's look at your and my country. Okay, so do the research, how many ethnicities you have in Turkey. Same in Serbia, you have more than 100 ethnicities in Serbia. Turkey and Serbia are examples of multiculturalism. People have a wrong perception, thinking like we are only Serbs and only Turks.
Yeah, it's not.
That's absolutely wrong. They don't know our history. They don't know what our nations are about. So I see the beauty of it. I give you an idea. For example, I consider my Muslim brothers from the Sanjak area of Serbia, they are my Serbian brothers. They are literally my Serbian brothers. And for me, there's no distinction. I gave the example of Selver Giga. I gave my son the name after Selver. So this is for me, again, the beauty of different cultures.
Yeah. So do we have to blur the Olympiacos in behind?
No, you're a good one. That's I like. Okay, I'm not at EuroLeague working anymore, and I have the biggest respect for Theo Papaloukas. So we will leave it as a respect for him. But same, we would have the same respect for any of the EuroLeague legends that we will witness in the 25-year celebration of EuroLeague basketball. We will embrace each and every one of them, and the same level of respect that I have for Theo, I can count up now for Dimitris Diamantidis, if you want the other way around. Yeah, many others also. Both of them that I just mentioned are good friends of mine. So I sit with Theo, I sit with Dimitris. I was sitting in with Theo now in Abu Dhabi. When I was in Athens, I was sitting with Dimitris Diamantidis. So yes, thanks to all ambassadors of EuroLeague for the 25 years of joy that they gave to us, and sometimes tears they gave to us, but mostly the joy that they gave to us.
Yeah, and you have an amazing book. I was looking at it. It's like 101 basketball legends in EuroLeague.
Yes, who caught your attention of the 101?
Oh, too much. But only I had a chance to meet Audi Norris.
Okay.
yeah, in Greece. And then in Barcelona game, I catched him one more time.
Okay.
And he's like amazing. He's super humble. Like in his presence, you don't feel like he made a lot of things.
Aydin Bey, we have to say to him, yeah? Yeah? So, yeah, Aydin Örs, you gave a best example. I think Ergin would fully agree.
Yeah.
You know, same as I always say, every coach's obligations is to find the next coach. I see my obligation is to find the next manager. So in order for all those people who praise now Ergin, we actually have to thank Aydin Örs for it.
Aydin Örs is, I had a chance to spend a lot of time with Aydin Örs, and he's an idol.
Mr. Örs, we thank you in the name of all basketball fans that you were the mentor of Ergin Ataman.
And I want to talk about the basketball business a little bit. So the basketball business is increasingly becoming global and competitive, as we talked. So what do you think is the EuroLeague's biggest advantage over the leagues? And how can it leverage that, attract more global attention and talent?
Look, you're aware that for almost 2 decades, if I remember correctly, the slogan of EuroLeague basketball was devotion. And now it is every game matters. Let's go into both parts of the medal. I give you an anecdote about devotion. I was one time, maybe some 10 years ago, it was the first time after many years that I ended up going into a disco with some friends from EuroLeague that came to Belgrade, and they said, please take us out. And I was like, hey, I don't like to go to discos, but I will do you the favor, I'll take you to a disco. And I went to the toilet, take a pee. Next to me were 2 guys singing the devotion anthem. At 3 at night, in a toilet, they were singing the devotion anthem. So for me, at that moment, I called Edu Scott. I was like, hey, look, just that you have an idea. I'm right now taking a piss, but listen to this song that I'm hearing right now, okay? So this is a very explicit scenery, yeah, that you understand on what the devotion really means for the fans here. Look, I'll give you another example talking about Serbia. In Serbia, the day you are born, and when your father comes and picks you up, because husbands are not allowed to be there when the physical birth is happening, they pick up their wives and their kids, and they usually pick them up with either a Partizan uniform for the baby or a Red Star uniform. And some of them go to this extent that on the day when they pick up, they go to the Red Star fan office or the Partizan fan office to register their kid as fans. This level of devotion that our fans in Europe have for their clubs, I think this is something that very rare to see. I agree that maybe on the Latino American continent, the Brazilians and Argentinians have shared the love in football on the same level, or maybe in other sports in other continents also. But let's say this fully, some would call it heavy users, or in bad languages, hooliganism. But this way on how much you love your club here is really extraordinary. Then this parameter of literally every game matters in EuroLeague. I don't know. Again, look, I try to follow the most sports that I can, but I watch so much basketball that I don't have so much time for other sports. But I can tell you, I love, for example, football, water polo. I like volleyball. I like rugby to watch. Okay, I like tennis to watch. Okay, to know because of Novak, I must support Novak, of course. But please challenge my thought. But I really don't, out of the head, know a league where literally everyone can beat everyone, and where it will always, at the end of the regular season, 1 or 2 game losses will decide who is on which part of the ranking. Are you home court advantage? Are you in the playoffs? Are you in the play-ins? It's always 1 or 2 games. So this is for me, let's say, the thing that I would say is the most special feature that we have here. And now the other part of the question, what you said, what is a threat for us, or what worries me a little bit, is what worries me. Back in the days, every club used to have an academy and to build its players, okay? So for example, CSKA had the Trinta Academy that they worked with. Žalgiris, okay, thank God they still have their academy, okay? Red Star, thank God they still have their academy, yeah? But let's say like this, some decades ago, it was a must understood thing that you must have your own academy with boarding school, with your own facilities and everything. And nowadays, this gets less and less. Mm-hmm. So clubs are moving over to the business understanding, meaning signing off players like in a purchase agreement. But very little of them have the focus on still working and producing players that are actually playing in their categories. So right now, let's talk realistically. We have Real Madrid as the prime example. So they're like, this is how it has to be done, okay? We have Žalgiris Kaunas, and we have Red Star Belgrade that produce players that really go into the senior selection. I wish we could go back to a time that it's understood that every club has this in common. And sorry for forgetting Alba Berlin. They're also doing an incredible job in terms of youth development, and so you see, it's really, this is for me the pity of this.
When we talk about the basketball business, there's a lot of things inside the basketball business and basketball world, which is like management, communication, marketing, and these days the technology is having a big role inside the basketball business. And I know that you've been working on basketball technology in basketball, let's say, during your years in EuroLeague, right? And you've been involved in managing scout systems and educational programs. And beyond analytics, what emerging technologies do you believe will have the biggest impact on basketball operations and management in the next decade, and why?
Again, this was one of the questions that surprised me when you sent them over to me. I was like, okay. I've been many times asked what I did in setting up the scouting server here in EuroLeague Basketball. So everyone always wants to ask, how did I do the scouting here? But rarely I've been asked what I think will be the future of scouting, okay? So it's a very rare question I get. But it's actually the question that obsesses my mind the most. What is coming next, okay? So in terms of technologies, I always said that for me the next level of scouting will be practice scouting. Let me give you a practical example. You were a player. Back in the days, you were shooting 3 times 10 shot, and your assistant coach manually writes down how much shots you made. Mm-hmm. And there's at the same time 12 players shooting, and you are yelling at him 8 of 10, but you actually made 5 of 10. Okay, because he cannot check 10 players running up and down the whole time, so he was manually writing it down. Okay, well, nowadays you have technologies, you don't need to do this anymore. So you put on devices, okay, and the computer will calculate it automatically, and then the computer will tell it. Also, let's say like this, you can put on a screen in the arena. You have cameras, automated cameras who are recording. Until now, when a coach wants to correct a play in the practice, he says to all the players, freeze! And then he says, go back to your positions. Well, nowadays you have a screen, you scroll back 20 seconds, and you tell the players, hey, look at here, look at here, look at here. So this is, let's say, when I talk about practice scouting, what I think is the next evolution. The next thing, when we see now that Panathinaikos has a glass floor that they use in EuroLeague, I think you will see much more clubs using the glass floor. Combine this with artificial intelligence. Let's say we're now talking again about tactical alignments. You will see the video on the glass floor on how you play the tactic, and then Željko will come to the player. You should have not been here, your feet should have been here, for example. But he sees it how it was played on the glass floor. Yeah? This is what I said. Until now you have the screen where you can go like a coach, review, but imagine this on the glass floor, for example.
Yeah, it's under you.
Yes, and then you see, hey man, I should have been rather standing here, or the screen should have. This is what our coaches always talk about, how important spacing is, how important timing is in tactical elements, okay? But imagine this visible on the court for you. And that's another dimension, yeah? Or players will fight in the game, in the practice. Was it out of bounds or was it not out of bounds? You will have the glass court telling you if it was out of bounds. Yeah. You will have the glass floor telling you, not the glass floor, sorry, technologies telling you who touched the ball last before it became out of bounds. Yeah, you get the point where we're going to go to. For me, the most effective implementations that I'm expecting in the future will be artificial intelligence in the medical care. And look, all my coaches always think players first. What can we do for the players? What more can we do for the players? Okay, and I think the EuroLeague clubs have not fully understood the importance of protecting their assets. Let's talk in business terms, which are the players' bodies. There's still a lot that they can do in terms of medical investments, of equipment, of getting the best doctors to work with them and so on. But let me give you an idea. Dimitris Itoudis, already from CSKA times, then with Greek national team, and in Fener, and now in Hapoel Tel Aviv. He uses a software, which is, you send a player to an MRI at the beginning of the season. The software creates the avatar of the player, and the conditioning coach sits on a computer during practice and says, hey, let's make it simple. His intensity you must drop, or his intensity you must raise, okay? So just a simple correlation, but I don't want to go now too deep in where artificial intelligence will go in medical sense. But for me, look, I don't like the fact that we have now every team always having 3-4 injured players, or like Erdem had last year, 8 or 9 players at a certain point of time. This upsets me like a fan of basketball. I want to see the best players playing. I want them always to play. So I think all of us should ask ourselves the questions, how can we make sure that the players are healthy? This is top priority for me and for all my members, and I think everyone should get this mindset. We should do everything we can to give the best tools available that our players that we love to watch, that they can perform.
Amazing. And this technology is getting crazy. One thing that shocked me, right now the NBA in-game got the glass court. They have all the data that, for example, they're going to play against Los Angeles Lakers, and they have all the data that what they can make in a defense, how they can switch, who can go where. And then they, in the glass court, they can see everything.
We will be with the EHCB Coaches Academy going in April to the Toronto Raptors and have our practice week there, meaning our academy coaches will go and see the work of the Toronto Raptors and Darko Rajakovic. At the practice week, I want to thank Darko again for making this possible, the Toronto Raptors for having us with them. So all these things you're talking about, you can ask our participants after they finish the EHCB practice week. You'll be like, guys, what did you see? What did you learn? I will ask you to sit down then with those participants, and they will tell you
I would love to.
what it is, what Darko and the Toronto Raptors are doing. I'm expecting incredible things to see.
Yeah.
I will also be there, going there. I think you will see me running around with a notebook, typing down everything that I saw, and I'm very much looking forward to this.
So we talk about two things, right? One, human power, and then the AI power, which is technology, and which is unlimited, and so like they have access to everything.
Which is unlimited for you?
Technology.
I think the other way around. I think that's the human brain is unlimited.
Yeah, but human brain can damage and influenced by the other thing, but AI doesn't.
Ah, okay, you think like this. I maybe think that Nikola Tesla would counter-argue your thesis also.
Oh yeah, this kind of...
Yeah, so, okay, let's go on. Okay, let's go on.
I really like a quote. It's from some creative guy called Rick Rubin, and he's the producer, music producer. And they asked him, how you be so inspiring? This is your power? And then he answered, my power is not being inspiring, is not being inspired.
Yeah, okay. I get your point, but let's go back to the technical aspects in this conversation. Look, I think that I've been many times asked when I was here the admin of the scouting server in EuroLeague, but believe me, not many times, too many times. What do I think about advanced statistics? And I always wanted to give it a little bit of spice to my answer. And I said, stats is like a prostitute. They tell you what you want to hear. So what do I want to say? What's my problem with the advanced statistic is, they analyze the past. What a player did before.
Yeah.
How many times he shoots dribbling to the right, how many times he shoots dribbling to the left. So it's analyzing the past. But you know why I think people like Zinedine Zidane, like Lionel Messi, like Nikola Jokic, and now let's go back to coaching, a guy like Željko Obradović, I always say they live 1 second in the future. How did I realize this? For example, I was at the World Cup final in Berlin, where Zinedine Zidane played, in the Berlin Olympic Stadium. Look, one thing is if you watch him on TV, you are seeing him possibly 15 minutes in the footage. But when you see him 90 minutes, you realize that out of all the, let's say, 100,000 people in the arena, he knew exactly what would happen in the next second before anyone else saw it. The same impression I had when I saw Lionel Messi first time in the Camp Nou. Those kind of players, you cannot put them in a statistic.
Yeah.
Even if you are the best scout, even if you have the best supercomputer on this planet, you cannot do this what they did. Okay? And also, why I say Željko lives 1 second in the future. I give you another idea. He anticipates the mistakes that the defense will do before the defense is even aware what they will do. So now I give you another philosophy back. You threw one at me, I throw one back at you. So the human element, for me, is not substitutable in sports. Of course, I, as someone who has been working in scouting, who's following all technologies, I want technologies to assist and to help. So I'm not against technologies. It's the exact opposite. I am that, like I gave now in the medical AI.
Yes.
What I said. Yes, the goal has to be, we have to do the best possible for the health of the player. Yes, let's use anything we can use in order to make them healthy, okay? So this, but still the player itself is the core of the essence of sport. So same thing I want to say here. It's the coach that is the coach and that will use all utilities presented to him, yeah? So the human factor is for me the most important one.
So they can go in a harmony.
Yes. Again, there's so much tools that you can use nowadays in coaching, and believe me, they are using them. They are using them, okay? But when it comes to the game management, when they, in an instant of a second, need to decide, will I tell my players to play, I don't know, thumb up or thumb down? This decision will, I think, never be based on stats.
Yeah.
That's a game feeling. That's experience. This is why you as a president pay Željko Obradović this amount that he earns. For this exact decisions that he makes that will maybe bring you a title. Okay? So this is, yes, coexistence, yes, but still, if I would choose to have rather a supercomputer taking decisions for coaching or Željko Obradović, I place everything that I have on Željko Obradović than on any supercomputer that you can deliver me.
Yeah, me too. That makes sense. And as you said, there is always gonna be needed a new human power.
The next generation, I always say.
Yes. Let's say for the basketball lovers who dream to working in a business of basketball, in a coaching side of a basketball, what are the top 3 qualities or skills they should develop to succeed?
Good question. When you asked me up front this question, out of all the questions, which it took me time to think, what is a good answer I can transmit to younger generations? This one came like this. So that was the fastest one that I was able to prepare myself of.
Is it good or bad?
No, let's say it's for me so clear what you need in order to become a coach that I didn't need much to think about it. So the first thing is communication skills. You must be able to communicate. So you must be a great communicator, but with all the people that you have to deal with, not only the players, you must also know how to talk to the management. You must know how to communicate with the owner. You must know how to talk to the media. You must know how you talk to the sponsors, You must know how to talk, and most importantly, besides the players, to the fans. The chain would be never ending with whom you need to know how to talk to. So quality number 1, there's no order now in the 3 that I will name, but let's say the first thing that popped my mind was the communication skills. The next thing is for me nowadays, because we're talking about technologies before, is IT skills. And I give you an idea. When I worked here in EuroLeague basketball, we were training the assistant coaches in scouting, we had like a scouting workshop. And let's say, again, a metaphorical number, let's say 100 coaches. And that was, we're talking now 2010, 2011, so many, many years in terms of IT age back in the days. Yeah? Many of the assistant coaches at that time, I called them internet users, meaning they could open a browser, they could type something on Word, and they could write an email. The majority of them. Then another category was advanced users, meaning guys who could do video editing. And the third level of users was administrators. Out of all the 100 that I've been through, I had only 2 guys who were admin level of users. If you go across the ocean, and if you look at the USA, there you would find at this year, let's say 2010, I would have found several thousand competent admin users. So this is why I always try to say to the assistant coaches here, and then at that time I was like, hey guys, you need to acquire another level of IT skills. Okay, this will just make you better. And I can be confident now in 2025 that I think that most of the guys, if I would call them in now for another workshop, I'm very confident that internet users zero, so meaning those who were a majority, and now all of them are advanced users, and a whole big number of them are admin level of users. So it became much better, okay, within, let's say, a frame of 15 years. The last thing is, and I will give you the words of coach who was coaching EuroLeague and NBA. And when he came back from the NBA, I asked him, okay, how was it with your coaching staff? Please give me the differences and correlations between the coaching staffs. And he said to me back in times, he said, Goran, I had 11 on-court assistant coaches. I would change all those 11 for the one that I had here in the EuroLeague. So what I want to say, this what we, the coaches in the EuroLeague and Eurocup and generally in Europe have, is a very high basketball intelligence IQ. Back in the days, like I said, we were missing the IT component, which was relevant. So you must have basketball skills, a basketball IQ, IT skills, and then this communication skills to round this up. The basketball intelligence is very high in Europe and especially EuroLeague. If you look at our games, this looks like a chess game. And a chess game on high art. It's not only the coach who plays the chess, it's the players executing it. So I give you another anecdote. When we did the coaches clinic here, when I was still working in EuroLeague, we had Jelko Obradovic giving a lecture, and Dimitris Itoudis was also there, who's now my current president. During the lecture, Dimitris got a little bit nervous and said, hey Goran, we must stop Jelko. He's telling the whole playbook of Panathinaikos. And I looked at Dimitris and said, yeah, but all it takes nowadays is you take a laptop, you take the video, you edit it yourself, and you can understand the playbooks yourself, okay? But the lecture was over, and I told Jelko, I was like, hey, Dimitris was a little bit nervous that you talked out the whole playbook. And Jelko looked back at me and said, hey, Goran, but you know, it's very interesting for all those people to listen to my explanations about our plays, but they are missing one thing. They don't have Dimitris Diamantidis. Yeah. So again, it's not only people have a misperception that the coaches play a chess game, yeah, but it takes the players to execute this, you understand? So this is, let's say, but still, and I believe that many of the players from outside of Europe that come to Europe, why it takes them so much time to adjust, because this level of basketball knowledge that is requested from them to understand, it takes time. It's like you and me now going to rocket science, and the people expect the next days that you and me are ready to fire a rocket to Mars. Yeah, sorry, this does not work in one day time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to move on to the last question. So, as we talked in the whole interview, you've been doing a lot of things for the next generations. And I want to ask a question about your legacy. As a leader of the EuroLeague Head Coaches Board, what legacy do you hope to leave behind?
First, also a question that I've never been asked before.
The legacy?
Never ever I've been asked in an interview or by media or by anyone, what should be the legacy of the EHCB. And it's not my legacy, and I'm not the leader of EHCB. The leaders of EHCB are the coaches and the members. So I will give it in the words of their words. Pablo Lasso, when our founding vice president, when we started discussing about what is our core founding principles to define in our statute. And Pablo said, hey guys, let's be straight here. No one of us needs any help or any protection from EHCB. We are all on this level where we wanted to be in our life and so on. We should do it for the next generation of coaches. This is our obligation that we have. We have to found the EHCB, not for us, that was his word. We have to do it for the younger coaches. And all this, what we will do, we're not doing for us, we're doing it for the younger coaches, okay? Same thing is, we are very, very proud that the EHCB Academy that is now in the 5th generation has now coaches out of the head, don't take me by the exact number. I know it's more than from 90 different countries. I think it's 94 different countries that we gathered together in those 5 generations. This makes us proud. So that really coaches from more than 90 different countries, they learn from the EuroLeague head coaches and EuroCup head coaches. They learn not only about tactics, it's also, again, leading by example, leading by principle. I always say, when people ask me, what is your job? I tell them, I'm a part of a league of gentlemen. I represent a league of gentlemen. And this is what my members really leave as a legacy. It's doing it for the younger generations, doing it for coaches from around the world. This is, I think, the core essence of all our activities that are really focused on giving to other coaches. I always give one more correlation. In our first clinic that we had, we did it in Barcelona. We had coaches from more than 30 different countries. It was a 4-day, three-day event back then. And Željko was in the arena the whole day. He watched every lecture from his colleagues, okay? But during the lectures of his colleagues, he was sitting in the stands with the coaches from more than 30 different countries who came to listen to the EuroLeague coaches. And he was constantly talking to coaches. Many of them came to me afterwards, I cannot believe that Željko asked me basketball technical, tactical questions. So it was not only them asking Željko, they were surprised that he asked them questions. And after the event, I went to him, I said, hey Željko, they were all surprised why you asked them questions. And he answered to me, Goran, education is not a one-way street, it's a two-way road. I learned from them also.
Yeah.
They have a misperception. They think that they are only learning from me. I learned from them too. So yes, I'm very proud of this coaches conversations that we have amongst our academy members when we do the congress, for all the participants who arrive for the congress, for the conversations between our members. Let's say I'm a happy man that I can listen to so much transfer of knowledge in all different levels. This makes me very happy.
Yeah, amazing. And I hope it will go through generation by generation. Like next generation will upload the next generation.
Okay, I have a question back for you. Who of the next generation of coaches that you currently see in the EHCB is for you the highest potential or the one that you like the most? A hard one, huh?
Yeah.
Ah, see? Not so easy.
Yeah. The younger, I think for me, the younger coaches like a sponge will get a lot of information.
Mhm.
The name is kind of hard, but I can explain the idea if it's okay.
Okay.
So I think a young, for example, 20 years old, 22, 23 years old assistant coach for a great like Obradovic, Ergin Ataman, Erdemcan, Jeskevicius, all these coaches, and if they are like a sponge, I think they will be a next generation of a great coach.
Yes. Yes.
So I can answer it like this in a political way.
So you said the sponge principle. The wife of my professor Karalej that I mentioned, she called me a blood eagle. She said, you ask so much question from the professors, you want to ask everything that they know, and you just want to take out their knowledge.
Yeah.
You're right. This is the characteristic you must have if you want to be a coach. Never stop learning, never stop asking questions, but not only to other people, asking yourself questions.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so it's always about this, you never stop asking questions. Why did he do it and why did I do it? Okay, so it's a very important element that you said, and I really believe that the beauty of coaching is every day you learn something new, every day. And this is why I think why all the coaches actually take the sacrifice of working this job, which is very, very hard, physically, psychologically, socially. How do you think the kids of those coaches feel?
Yeah.
Give the example of Coach Olimpiewicz. He has 2 little sons. Okay, what do you think? How many times per year they see their daddy? It's a hard sacrifice. Yeah, but he's doing this hard sacrifice also for his sons. Yeah, so it's not only for him. He's doing it for his sons, for his wife. These sacrifices husbands do for their families. It's hard, but it is really this strive. Every day become better. Every day you learn. Every day you challenge yourself. This is the mindset you need to have as a coach.
Yeah. And thank you for your time and all of your answers for the questions.
Thank you for having me with you.
It was my pleasure.
It was a different type of question and answer game I ever had. Same as we were talking about what's up for the next generation of coaches, keep on going.
Thank you.
You're going in the right direction. I like this very much, what we did today. I enjoyed. And keep up working. Hard work will lead to success.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.